Hello and welcome to What Culture Horror. Here are myself, Andrew Pollard, where today it is all about Scream 6. It hit cinemas, at least in the UK, on the 8th of March. That was last night as of the recording of this video, and yours truly has had the chance already to check it out. Picking things up with the survivors of Scream 5 and moving the action to New York, it's best to let you know that from this point out there will be spoilers. Yes, I'm going to talk about what happens in Scream 6. I'm going to talk about what's good. I'm going to talk about what maybe wasn't so good. I'm going to talk about deaths, because it's Ghostface. You know there's going to be dead bodies. And I'm going to talk about the big reveal of just who exactly Ghostface is this time out. So if you don't want spoilers, turn around right now. This is your last warning. Plot-wise, as mentioned, Sam and Tara Carpenter and Mindy and Chad Meeks Martin have moved to NYC. With Tara, Mindy and Chad, they're studying at Blackmore University. For Sam, she's there basically to keep an eye on her younger sister, a younger sister who very nearly died in the opening moments of Scream 5, of course. That was the launching point for the antics of Scream 5. We're soon introduced then to a group, a new set of friends, should we say. So we've got Mindy's girlfriend Annika, there's Chad's shy and awkward roommate Ethan, there's Sam and Tara's highly sexed roommate, shall we say, Quinn, and the mysterious and hunky neighbor Danny. Plus there's some cops around, of course, and there's even a therapist for Sam. So plenty of new characters introduced to pad out the crowd, shall we say. Some may die, some may have a bigger role to play than you maybe first believe. Before those characters do get fully fleshed out though, there's a fantastic opening sequence. It's right up there with some of the best that the franchise has offered. I mean, this is a trope that Scream has done in every single film, going back to Drew Barrymore famously getting killed off Casey Becker in the original Scream movie. The opening sequence here, this is where Samara Weaving comes into play. Now, it was previously known that Samara Weaving, that's easy for me to say today after lots of coffee, was to have a role to play in Scream 6, but that role was not revealed. Of course, a big favourite of the horror community for Ready or Not, amongst other things. But here you've got Samara Weaving, geez, I will get that name right at some point today, playing a university professor who is on a Tinder date. Now, she does end up, of course, being dispatched by Ghostface because he is the Tinder date, because her date rings her for directions to the bar. She goes outside to try and help him, and Ghostface turns up. Now, the twist here is that Ghostface immediately reveals their identity. It's Tony Revolori, as in Flash Thompson from the MCU, the Spider-Man films, or as he's known here in what could well be a nod to a certain Mr. Voorhees, his name is Jason. You see, Jason and his buddy Greg are massive Stab fans, and they're on their own mission to finish the requel that Amber and Richie started in Scream 5, and well, that is until Greg's mangled body is found in the refrigerator and Jason is murdered by another Ghostface. It's a really cool opening sequence. It really sets the stage. It zigs where you think it's going to zag, and the fact that we get to see Ghostface so early on, it's like, oh wow, this is novel, this is different. Of course, there's another Ghostface who kills these two would-be Ghostfaces. I'm going to try and get through this and describe what goes on in the film without going through every single plot beat, but I feel it's very important with the Scream movie to spend some time at least on the opening sequence, because it's just such a big part of the franchise. Everyone is well aware of Sam's role in murdering Richie at the close of Scream 5, so she finds herself as the prime suspect in these new Ghostface killings, and in fact there's even an online campaign that claims Sam was responsible for Scream 5's Woodsboro slayings, and that she framed Richie and Amber. So things only get worse for Sam's case when her therapist is murdered. And it's here that we learn that this Ghostface is using the masks of the franchise's former killers, with DNA identifying these, I guess you call them fallen ghost faces, should we say. It's also around about here that Gale Weathers turns up. Yes, Courtney Cox's character, the only person to appear in all six movies, apart from, I guess you could say, maybe the voice of Roger Jackson, the voice of Ghostface. But yes, Gale turns up because where there's murders, where there's Ghostface, where there's attention, there's going to be Gale Weathers. And Gale Weathers is always going to Gale Weathers. By that I mean that even though at the end of Scream 5 she promised she would not write about the events of that movie, she's gone and wrote a book about that movie, and she gets punched in the face by Tara here, which is very much a callback to Sydney and Gale's interaction in the first Scream movie. Also around about this time as well, Kirby Reed, Hayden Panettiere's character from Scream 4, rocks up, and not just rocks up, and not just has she survived the events of Scream 4, which was shown in Scream 5, technically. But she is now an FBI agent. So Kirby's an FBI agent. Gale is being Gale. But Kirby's arrival in particular is a godsend for Sam. As the lead detective in the Ghostface case, Detective Bailey, he's firmly of the belief that Sam's probably Ghostface. Sam's probably killing all these people. That is until Quinn, who is the roommate of Tara and Sam, is murdered, and it's revealed that she was actually the daughter of Detective Bailey. So the detective then joins up with Sam and her core four, as they call themselves, group of buddies, to basically take down Ghostface. But this is after Annika, Mindy's girlfriend, is another. She's another dead body that ends up piling up, and that's a very gnarly death. There's a lot of the murders in this movie are very which some people will love. A few people might not, but it was very cool. There's a lot of really cool. A lot of cool gore in this film if you're into that sort of thing. But as shown in the trailers, Scream 6 has some fantastic set pieces at all the right times. There's the early Ghostface attack at a grocery store. There's a second half Ghostface attack on a subway train. They're two particular highlights, two that were shown in the trailers and two that really deliver lots of tension, lots of manipulation of light and angles to obscure what you can see. Just it helps build up that tension. It's really, really well done. But there's also as well, there's of course seen in the promotional material, there's also the introduction of a Ghostface shrine, which is discovered by Gale and revealed to have been put together by Jason and Greg, the two fellows from the opening sequence. This is basically a treasure trove of Scream trivia. There's outfits, masks, weapons of every single previous Ghostface. It's very cool to see. It's a nice trip down memory lane for the characters, not necessarily a nice one for them, but for longtime fans of the franchise, it's cool to just see all these little nods to the films of yesteryear. And by now as well, Scream 6 is it's also positioned plenty of possible suspects for its killer or killers. So you've got Mindy insisting that Ethan, that the shy roommate of her brother, is Ghostface. You've got Sam's hookup, I guess you could call him, Danny. He's there brooding menacingly, usually with his shirt off. And even there's a notion of Kirby being the killer, because as the film gets to its final act, it's claimed that Kirby was actually fired from the FBI 2 months ago for being mentally unstable due to the events of Scream 4. So there's also maybe the notion as well that Gale Weathers has maybe finally now snapped, although there's a really brutal, bloody battle between Gale and Ghostface that just kind of takes away that idea. Just it looks as if Gale will be following in the footsteps of poor Dewey Riley in Scream 5. She just about manages to make it out of the movie alive. Although after that attack, Gale's not seen for the rest of the film, but it is said at the final moments that she is still alive. So Scream 7, Gale Weathers. It's also worth acknowledging as well Sydney here, Sydney Prescott. She is brought up in the movie. Gale notes that Sid, her husband Mark, and the kids have gone somewhere safe. So they haven't killed off Sydney. Sydney wasn't killed off screen, which some people were worried about. The chance is there for Neve Campbell to come back for Scream 7, which is a film that is very much in the works. But it was nice to see Sid at least acknowledged, because it would have been very much the elephant in the room if Sydney was just completely ignored. So the final act, right? This takes place in the abandoned movie theater that has been being used as this Ghostface shrine. And it's revealed that not just one, not even two, but there are actually 3 killers, yes, at play. The first one to reveal themselves is Detective Bailey. Yes, as in the cop who was insisting that Sam was behind the Ghostface killings. He's the first killer, and then he's flanked either side by 2 Ghostfaces. The first one unmasks as Ethan, who is the one that Mindy thought was adamant was Ghostface. And then on the right unmasks Quinn. Yes, Quinn, as in the girl who only featured in a handful of scenes, was killed off after about 30 minutes of the movie. Yes, that one and the same Quinn. With that death having been faked, and her dad, Detective Bailey, having swap the body, basically. It doesn't really make sense, but when he said it, it's like, right, they swap the body and use prosthetics, he says, and it's like, I'm not really buying that, mate. But either way, it's revealed that not just is Quinn Bailey's daughter, but Ethan is his son, and that another member of the family, as in another sibling, another son who is dead, is Richie from Scream 5. So yes, this is all a revenge mission for anybody involved in the antics of Scream 5, and in particular, Sam and her role in killing Detective Bailey's boy in the final of Scream 5. So that's where we get the big reveal. It felt a little bit flat to me, to be honest. It felt a little bit flat, but so did a lot of the final act itself. It's a little bit of a mixed bag, should we say. It does slightly derail what had been very much an excellent, tense slasher up until that point. The big reveal just falls a bit flat. The final battle between Sam and Tara at this point in time. The twins are alive, but they're hurt and they're off elsewhere. It's Sam and Tara against the three killers. There's some really cool gore involved in this. There's probably my favorite death sequence of the film probably comes here with Ethan, or at least his initial death, because hey, they always come back. But yeah, I don't know, the final battle just becomes a little bit too, I guess, too comedic at times, with Sam going full crazy serial killer, harnessing the genes of Billy Loomis, who Skeet Ulrich, Billy Loomis, does make a couple of cameo appearances again as a vision. But all in all, Scream 6 for me, it's a solid entry in one of modern horror's most popular franchises. There's a whole lot to enjoy in terms of the gore, in terms of the character development. There's a nice subplot of a romance brewing between Tara and Chad. Some really tense set pieces, but there's certain moments that are just gonna, I don't know, have some people shaking their head a little bit. That is Scream 6. Have you seen the movie? If you have, let us know in the comments what you thought about it. If you haven't, what are you looking forward to going and seeing? But this has been our little Scream 6 recap. Be sure to like, subscribe, turn notification bells on, share, and most importantly, just have the best possible day, whether you're doing something, whether you're doing nothing. I hope it's going well for you, and if it's not, I hope things turn around sooner rather than later. But I've been Andrew Pollard here at What Culture Horror. You can come and give us a follow on Twitter at WCultureHorror. Follow me if you want at Culture Left Peg, and I will catch you down the road.